All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think the mic is good. All right, so in this live stream, we're going to be going over the next systems, which is the weapon shooting and reload systems. Of course, so far we have the shooting systems. So far, it's, we're going to also work with the projectiles, but as you can see, as soon as you shoot, as you can see right there, the arrow. This word is so much hard for me to pronounce. Arrow. So the arrows, they are spawned in the world. As you can see, you can of course change the speed of how much the you can change the speed of how much the projectile is spawned and launched away. But I think this arrow is a little bit more. It's a little bit invisible, as you can see. If let me try to change the color of the world, to the theme of the world, to see if something changes. So yeah, something changed a little bit. Let me try to see if I can get this arrow, the material, to be a little bit more white, a little bit more clearer, so that we can really see the arrow going through when we're shooting. So we're going to go to, I think, blueprints. Let me just type arrow in here. I think it's going to be a lot easier. So if you go to the skeletal mesh, as you can see, we have just one bone here. It doesn't really matter. Oh wow. Yeah, this bone's a little bit big, I think. I think those bones were created from Blender. So maybe Unreal Engine tried to read it and then it glitched somehow, but not sure. Let's go to the material asset details. So here you can see you can really highlight. Let me just try to hide the bone so that we can see the arrow. All right, so here's the arrow that we have, and if you try to isolate, as you can see, you have a lot of materials. If you try to click on isolate, it's going to isolate the material. So it's only going to show that specific material that's there. If you want to also highlight the material, the object that's using that material, you can also do that. So each material represents a specific part of the mesh of the arrow, and you can customize it, of course. And let me just see. I think this part here could be customized. Maybe this could be a different color. It's pretty much up to you to decide that. So what I'm going to do is try to do that. But I'm going to just duplicate this material in here, and I'm going to call this arrow start, something like this, something that can be pretty much rememberable. And then I'm going to delete this because we've made the copy of it. So, and then I'm going to press 4 and left mouse click so that we can get this parameter here. I'm going to connect the first execution line in here. Again, I don't really understand much about materials. That's not my expertise, but I can make some stuff look great. Let's try to get the orange one. The specular is going to be, I think, 0. Metallic maybe 1. And metallic maybe 3, but that's not going to really matter. The emissive color is going to be, we're going to get the node of multiply and then connect to that. And then here you can specify the amount of emissive material you want to add. I'm going to add this one. Maybe it's a little bit too much, but it's just for the idea. I think it works. The idea to make it to look more representable. So I'm going to get the array start, and as you can see now, I think the arrow looks a lot more flashy. And yeah, I think there's also this part in here. Let me try to highlight this part here. If I get the start, the arrow is going to look like this, but it's a little bit too much. As you can see, yeah, it pretty much depends on the project's needs, but this one looks very nice. Let me just test it out with the other one. Yeah, maybe not. Adam said, hi there, hello. So what I'm going to do is just select this to be the start arrow, and I think that's going to make more sense. It's just to make it to be a little bit more visible in the world, because as we're using, as you can see, it's going to be like this. I think this is going to make it to be a little bit more visible, because before it wasn't. It's just black. So when you shoot, as you can see, it becomes more lighter. And if you try to change the light as well, maybe it's gonna help. You can see, or if you try to change the emissive strength, I think that's also going to help. So as you can see, the words a little bit more darker, and if you try to shoot a lot of them, you're going to be able to really see how they're placed in the world. So I think right now we're gonna have to search for sound effects for when the arrow impacts the surface. Emma said, you are my favorite developer, currently top videos. Appreciate it. Adam said, I think so the arrow's length is a little long. It's a little long. Yeah. We can reduce it on the arrow blueprint. Open up the full blueprint editor, go to the viewport, and then change it here. We can change the scale uniformly, so you can just, if you have this blocked, you can just type the name, the the number that you want. Let's say 22 or 20. I think 20 is going to look better. Maybe. I'm just going to delete this arrow here because this is just an example. And the real arrow that's going to be represented is this one right here. Yeah, so I think now the arrow looks smaller, but oh yeah, this is the wrong location. So it's going to look like this. If I want to just see how the bow is stretched, I can just copy paste this. Oops, not the, just Ctrl Z. I can just copy paste the bow and the arrow. And I'm just going to be able to see how the bow is stretched by clicking on the bow. On the animation mode, I can use the use animation asset and then use the bow draw. And the initial position is going to be 1. So the bow is going to be stretched. And I can click on the arrow and then move that to being here. So usually the arrow is going to be somewhere like here. And then this one is going to be something like this. Yeah, it's going to be something like this. I think the reason why the arrows they disappeared is because as soon as you spawn the projectile, the arrows they get launched. So as you can see, as soon as you spawn the blueprint, the arrows they are launched from there. I don't know if there's a way to disable the projectile movement from here. So yeah, I guess there is. So 0, 0, 0. Let me just set this to be 0. I think that's going to be, oh yeah, now the arrow is going to fall. Just see if there is an option to enable. Oh yeah, there we go. Now I just need to do the same, disable the simulation. Go to the projectile movement, disable the simulation, and click on the bow and stop the animation. Stop the animation from playing. There we go. Now we can really see the. Now we can really see the difference. All right, I'm going to place those visual representations and examples in the wall in here, just so that we can just visit and see how they're going to be like. I think I'm going to do this on a separate wall. I think it's going to be a lot more better. And then just copy this text and add bow and arrows, something like this. Just do some art in here. There we go. All right. Now we're going to make, I think it's time for us to make the reload systems. And I think we're going to start with the pistol first, and then we can move on with the bow. But before, I think, as you can see right here, those line traces are being spawned for each weapon. And I think that's not very performant, because if they are always on the event tick and always running, you can get some performance issues. So we're going to optimize this a little bit. So what we're going to want to do is just spawn that line trace, make that line trace to be spawned only when the character aims with the weapon. I think that makes more sense because when you're aiming, you want to have a visual representation of where it's going to go, maybe, or only when the character is equipped with that weapon. So I think we're gonna have to fix that. And before that, I've made before the live stream, there was a person who asked me. So there was a person who asked me to fix the correction of the pistol. As you can see on the character's hand, as you can see on the meta-humans, if you pick up the pistol with the meta-humans, the gun gets to be flowing, and that's because the Sandbox character is sending off information so that the weapon can be on the Sandbox character's hand, and when you try to change the characters like this, if you try to press on play, as you can see, it's going to still use I already fixed that character, but on this character, for example, let's say the U4 character, the weapon is going to be still attached to the UFN character and not the UE4 character. So to fix that, what I've done first, for everyone who's wondering how to fix that, because as we're working with multiple characters, we need to have different sockets we need to have different locations for where the weapon is going to be attached on the character's hand. So the first thing you're going to go to the UFN character and check for the socket location. So let me just go to here, and as you can see, I've already have it's a little bit messy here because we have a lot of information. So what I'm going to do is just remove all the visible weapons that are appearing here. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter much if we really remove all the attached assets, because we can be able to attach it again. You're not going to lose anything. So what we're going to do is just going to go to the hand R where the pistol 1H is created, the socket. And in here, as you can see, we have the socket for the weapon. So if you go to add preview asset, add the weapon, and as you can see, it's perfectly placed on the character's hand. There's no issue with that. And we're using the hand R socket as a base for the socket. And if you go to the U4 character, U4 mannequin, there's no such socket there. So what we're going to have to do is just copy the same name of the hand R pistol 1H, and then go to the UE4 character and go to the hand R and add a new socket with that same name. Hand R pistol 1H. This is a universal name that's going to work for all the characters, and you're gonna have to keep adding. You're gonna have to keep adding the same names for all the other characters as well. So for the pistol 1H, of course, I'm gonna have to add the preview asset so that we can see how the pistol is going to be placed in the character's hand. So here I'm going to leave it like this just for you to see that the weapon is going to be working. I'm going to leave it like this because if the weapon is totally wrong like this, it means that it's working. You're going to see how this is going to work later. Let me just close some things in here. PC Sandbox, different character, materials, save. So what we're going to do is go to the Sandbox character, go to the holster equip weapon function that we have. And as you can see, I've already created first of all, a enumerator So if you go to the blueprints and go to I forgot where it is. Let me just see character name. Just type character name in here. And let me just see where that is. So go to blueprints, retargeted characters. I've decided to put it here because you have all the characters. I think it makes more sense to place it in here. So I have created a enumerator. If you want to create one as well, you can just right click and go to enumeration. And here you're going to decide the name. I usually put the E underscore and then type the whatever makes more sense, the name that makes more sense to you. To be the enumerator name. So as soon as you click on the enumerator, here you can add a new enumerator. And here for the display name, you can add the name of the character. For example, for the Sandbox character, you can just add Sandbox character or just Sandbox. I'm going to add a new one, which is called UA4. So that's all you gotta do in here. I'm going to delete that enumerator because I already have created one, so I'm just going to delete that. And in here, as you can see, for my enumerator that I've created the default. The reason why is because the default value is the default one that gets set as soon as you create a new character parented to whatever blueprint is using that enumerator. It's kind of a little bit complex to explain, but essentially when you create a child of the blueprint that has that specific enumerator variable inside that blueprint, the default value gets set first. So it's very important to have a default value in all the enumerators, but I think not all of them, if you know how to manage things. But I think it's a good practice to add a default value in here just to handle things better. Because if you don't add the default value in here, just add the sandbox right away on the first line, all the child characters are going to have the sandbox value inside of them. So you're going to have to switch in each one of them, right? So it's always a good practice when you create an enumerator, the first value that you add in here is the default one. Now I'm going to add a new enumerator. I've already added the many, but forget about it. We're going to go ahead and go to the UE4 right away. And what you're going to do, we're going to go to the sandbox character, which is the parent of all the child, of all those children in here. Child blueprints. So all of them are child of the sandbox character. So this is the sandbox character, and the retargeted characters are all child of this blueprint here, of this character. So they're going to follow the same hierarchy, following the variables, the animations, blah blah blah. So you're going to go to the sandbox character, and you're going to add that variable in there. So as you can see, we have the character name. So to add a new enumerator variable, you're just going to call it character name, something like this, and you're going to select here in the variable type, you're going to select the character name, as you can see right here. So you're going to select that, and as soon as you do that, you're going to have the variable to be in here. So you can just either get the variable, or set the variable. So in this case, I got the variable in here, and I use the switch node so that we can, based off of what this value is, we're going to do the execution lines accordingly. We're going to use the executions. So if the character name has the value of sandbox, so this execution line is going to be executed. So only that execution line is going to be executed and not the other ones. So all the other three are not going to be executed. So here is a little bit messy because I haven't cleaned it up. But essentially what it does in here, I think I'm going to have to create a new a better structure for this. But essentially, yeah, I'm stalling right now because I'm trying to think of the what's the best solution to fix this. But I think the best solution that could be possibly found is just to collapse all this into a, let me just unplug all this, collapse all this into a function. Oh yeah, I cannot collapse it to a function. I don't know why exactly I cannot collapse that to a function. I think I'm gonna have to remove everything and collapse to function. Collapse and it's failed. I don't know why. Multiple entry pin possibilities unable to convert to a function. Make sure that selection is either has only one entry pin or exactly one entry pin has a connection. Let me just unplug all this and then function collapse. That's weird. Collapse. Okay, let me just create a function from here. Maybe it's a bug. I'm not sure which exact node we cannot convert to a function. So in here, we're going to write weapon automatic selection. Maybe I think it's better to be mesh automatic selection. We're going to get the return value, return node. It's very important. Then from the return node, first we're going to drag and drop the function in there. So I'm just going to drag and drop, and on the function I'm going to select it to be pure, and just going to, let me just see, scene component object reference. So I'm just going to plug that into the return node in there. And this is going to be the result for connecting to the parent. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to select the mesh depending on which character you're playing. So as you can see, when I'm running this character, when I'm playing with this character, as you can see, I'm playing with basically the blueprint of the UFN character. So I'm basically playing with this blueprint right here. But when I change mesh, the mesh, as you can see, if I get the many or if I get the U4 mannequin, which is the mannequin that we're going to test it out, as you can see, we're basically running a different blueprint. And from that different blueprint, we need to get the mesh out of it. So if you double click on that blueprint, go to the viewport, and if you select the mesh, we need to have the skeletal mesh. I don't know why it's named skeletal mesh 0. I think the Epic Games team hasn't set the name of the mesh. So I'm just going to do the job for them. So I'm going to name it to be UE4 mesh. So we need to get that mesh, that specific mesh, but for getting that mesh, we need to get the actor of a class first, and then, or we can, I think there's a better way to do this, but I'm not sure. Let me see, get children, get child. Yeah, I think we could do a more optimized way later, but this is essentially the way that it could be done. So in case the character name equals to Sandbox, of course we're going to use the mesh, the Sandbox character, the mesh of the Sandbox character, because the character name equals to that. So for the default one, I think we can plug the UFN mesh. There is no problem. For the Sandbox character, of course, we're going to have to plug in the mesh of the Sandbox character, which is this one right here. So you can just drag and drop the mesh reference variable component to here. So just make sure that it's connected to here. So based off the character name value, we're going to select the mesh, the right mesh. And I think we don't really need this switch. So I'm just going to delete that. We're going to just go straight into the result. Or maybe I think we need the switch so that we can get the actor of a class, because the get actor of a class requires the input, the execution input, and the output value in here. So I think it's very good to have the switch. And yeah, so for the Sandbox character, we don't really need to get the actor of a class, to get its reference, because we're basically running on the same blueprint. But for the many and the UE4, we need to get those references. So the way that we get those references first, before we can get its mesh reference, is by getting the node get the actor of a class and plugging the connection pins in there. So we're going to just plug them to here. And so for the many, I'm going to select the many Sandbox character many, which is the children. And for the U4, we're going to select type U4 mannequin. And as you can see, I've changed the name of if you go back to the U4 mannequin, I've changed the name of the mesh to be U4 mesh, so that we can make sure that we're selecting getting the mesh of the character. And for getting the mesh, we can just drag off the return value pin and get the UE4 mesh. And then just hit enter. I'm just going to delete this because I don't need it. And from here, now finally we can get the mesh result, which is this one right here. So we can finally connect it to the V4 value, input value in there. And for the many as well, we can get the many mesh. So we can go back to the many blueprint, and here's the many mesh. I'm going to type it to be many mesh so that we can know that it's the many mesh. Many's mesh. And then from here we can get the many mesh, like so, and then connect it to the many in here. And the other thing that you need to make sure, because the character name is, remember that it's going to connect, it's going to basically select which mesh we're using. So it's very important to set the character name equivalently to the blueprint. So as you can see, the Sandbox character, if you click on the default value to see what the default value of the character name is, the character name is on the Sandbox. Sandbox has the Sandbox the value Sandbox. It has the Sandbox name character name. I don't know how to explain this, but basically you have to assign the same name of the blueprint that the variable is in, and go to the view for mannequin. And if you go to the class defaults, and in here, as you can see, you're going to be able to find an option called character name. So you're going to click on that and click on the UE4 because this is the UE4 character. And you're going to do the same thing for the many. Just make sure that if you go to the class defaults, I've already set it up. But for this one, as you can see, the character name is many. So this is just a way for you to differentiate which character you're basically using. We're basically running at runtime. So yeah. And now this is going to automatically select for us the correct mesh, and this is going to be very good. So as you can see, if you create a new children of the Sandbox character, and if you don't set anything, this is going to go to default. So you're going to have to print a string saying default attach socket failed, whatever name makes more sense to you. Just attach basically just attach socket failed. I think only by getting this message, I'm going to know what's going on. And yeah, and connect this. So I think that's going to be enough. Now I'll press and play, see, test it out. So as you can see, let me just remove that draw debug thing in there. Draw debug point. And then I'm just going to delete this. All right. Just see. Now, if I get the UE4 mesh and I try to pick up the pistol, as you can see, the socket is working because we placed it wrong, but that's no problem. We can just fix that real quick. So it's going to be something like this. And play again, change the mesh by pressing N, and then pick up the gun. And as you can see, the head is glitching on the character's head, but that's no problem for now. We're not focusing on swapping using different character meshes, but you know, this is the result that we can get by just doing what we did. And I guess this socket is a little bit more up and to the side right here. It's going to be, yeah, I think the gun itself is bigger than the character's arm for some reason, but this is the result that you can get. So you're going to practically do the same thing for all the other characters. And yeah, that's it. So that's how you fix the socket location for the other characters that are following the hierarchy of the Sandbox character. Now I think we can move on to the reload system. Reload system. Of each weapon. Right now we're not going to be working with reload animations because I think I don't have the reload animations right now. So we're going to just basically do the core part, the backend logic first, so that we can move on to to make the character to reload. Let me just check if this, yeah, I'm gonna have to open up the weapon system project files later to check if I have any reload animations in there. So I'm just going to create a new graph for handling the weapon reload system. So in here, I'm just going to get the R key. So when you press the R key, we can reload. So before reloading, of course, we're going to have to check if the weapon is on the character's hand, or if the character is equipping the weapon, and know which weapon the character is equipping, if in case the character is equipping any weapon. So we're going to have to go to the macro that we've just created before, which is called weapon identifier. So we're just going to drag and drop it into the, I think it's not this one. Let me just get weapon reference. Yeah. I think the get weapon there are some nodes here that I don't really use. But yeah, the weapon identifier I do use, but I don't know what the new function is. Maybe I don't use this one. Yeah, I don't use this one at all. But so I'm just going to delete it. Maybe this is going to be useful for something, but I'm just going to delete that. Delete the functions that I don't use. And now I'm going to go back to the weapon reload system. I'm going to get the R And I think we're gonna have to think a little bit about the reload system, because we're gonna have to check if the character is. We're gonna have to check to do some checks to check if the character, what in what state the character, in what condition the character is going to be able to reload the weapon, or the player in this case. So we're gonna have to check if the character, if the player is going to be able to reload, to make the character to reload when he's flying, when he's not flying, if he's shooting. So we're gonna have to check for all those states because they really matter. Otherwise, we're gonna have bugs in the code. So we're gonna have to check for all the states to see if the character is shooting, is currently shooting, it's not shooting. If it's holstering the weapon, as you can see, we don't have the state that shows that the character is holstering the weapon. Let me just see. Yeah, I think we don't have the state for that, so we need to create the state for that. But before that, I think, as I promised earlier, we're gonna have to fix the line trace appearing for all the weapons, even though the character doesn't own, it's not equipping. So I think we can go to the weapon master, and this is the line trace for weapons for the event. In here, I think we can get the weapon type, not the weapon type, but the weapon state. And here, from here, I think it's going to be pretty easy. Just going to get the switch out of the weapon state, and it's going to check for the weapon state, and it's going to return us the value if the weapon is holstered on the character, if the weapon is equipped on the character. So we can have all that sort of information in there. And when you press on play, as you can see, the line trace disappeared. But now when I get the pistol, as you can see, now the line trace appears only for the weapon, only for the weapon that I'm equipping. If I holster it, as you can see, the line trace is going to disappear. If I get the bow, the line trace is going to appear. Now I'm going to holster it again, pick it up, pick the let me get Sandbox character. I'm going to change the color of that box trace to differentiate the other traces. So box trace. And I'm going to make it differentiate, change the trace color to be white, and the trace hit color is going to be yellow. So as soon as you pick up a new weapon, it's going to be yellow. Now okay, so the trace color is going to be white. And then when it detects something, the box trace is going to get to be yellow, and the hit location is going to be represented as white, as you can see. All right, so that differentiates a little bit. Which is great. All right. So as you can see here, I've already created the ammo, the ammo variable, it's an integer. It's an integer. I think we're gonna have to create to display in the screen how many bullets we have. So as soon as you pick up the weapon, it shows us which weapon we're currently equipping. So as you can see on the weapon, one pistol weapon is equipped. So if I try to pick up the rifle, it says here in this one, the picked up weapon is rifle. But the weapon that is equipped is this one. Yeah. So for the pistol, I think we can make the bullets to be maybe five on the capacity for storing ammo. I think we're gonna have to make it to be different from each one. So for example, for the pistol, or the class defaults, we can change the ammo. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to have two variables. One is for current ammo, current ammo that is on the pistol. Current ammo quantity, maybe. And then I'm going to duplicate this and call it current ammo capacity. So I think for the pistol, we can make the ammo capacity to be 5. Pistol child. So I'm going to go to the class defaults. I'm just going to compile first so that we can update the references, the variables that we just added. The current ammo quantity, it's the amount of ammo that the character holds. Or maybe the current ammo that the pistol that is stored on the pistol currently. So I'm going to make it 5 or 8. The ammo capacity is going to be 8 as well, so the pistol is going to be full. So I've never done this, by the way, so that's why I'm trying to think the best I can to really make the system work. But I'm trying to base off all the systems that I make based off on the Last of Us mechanics, because the Last of Us mechanics, you can have a lot of references that could be very useful for making the game the type of project that I'm making right now. So The Last of Us 2 is a great reference. The Last of Us 1 as well could be a great reference to see. To be able to make a good project. Yeah. Weapon Master. All right, so whenever we shoot, we're going to spend the current ammo quantity, so we're going to subtract it by 1. and we're gonna have to constantly check for new ammo. So the character can only shoot when the ammo quantity is more than 1, because if the ammo quantity is 0, then the character is going to try to shoot, but it's going to release the sound that, you know, the weapon is not going to be shooting. It's not going to be able to shoot. So we're going to have to do that check before we can shoot. So to do that check, we're going to have to go to the weapon shooting mechanic or logic, and before shooting, we have these checks. So if the character is aiming, if the character is pressing aim, and if the overlay state is not, it doesn't equal to default. So let's check before shooting. And then here you can make something like check if the gun has bullets to shoot. I think that makes sense. To shoot. Retro said, The Last of Us, yeah, is a great reference. Indeed it is. It's a very good reference. But before checking if the gun has bullets to shoot, we're gonna have to firstly get the weapons. Get the weapon. Yeah. We're gonna have to do this checking here first. So for finally shooting, we're gonna have to move this event to here, and then we're gonna have to move this event to be in here. In here, this in here, and then there we go. Happy moment. Here, get the weapon reference variables. Yeah, but in general, get the variable. Get the weapon info. All the weapon info. So get all the weapon info. And check if the gun has bullets to shoot. That's very important as well. So I'm going to get the weapon reference and get the ammo and get CurrentAmmoQuantity. And if it equals to more than 1, we have bullets to shoot, so we can shoot. If it doesn't, then I'm going to print a string saying that we don't have any weapons to shoot. And this saved weapon reference, as you can see, it's very messy. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is get the saved weapon tag. I'm going to use this one right here and get the saved weapon reference from right over here. So I'm going to get them to be in here, and I'm going to get this to be in here. So that's going to be a little bit more organized, because right now it's just a mess. Work in progress. Right now is work in progress. All right. So it doesn't have bullet. Doesn't have any bullets. And as soon as the character shoots, we're gonna have to reduce the current ammo quantity. And I think we can also use the saved weapon reference. Here, we don't really need to plug this into here. We can just use the variable that's saved over here. That gets saved. Save. Okay. All right. Doesn't have any bullets, and the color is going to be red. I'm going to set the duration of 10 because this is an arrow. So always for print strings that are going to print arrows, maybe, you know, it's better to set the duration to be 10 or maybe 5. In this case, it's not an error. It's not really an error, but just in case. Now, as soon as we shoot, of course, we're going to have to reduce the ammo quantity. So what I'm going to do is just subtract it by 1 simply. And then, of course, we're going to have to set the new variable, set the new value after subtracting. As soon as you shoot, so we're going to have to reduce the number. So, and then we're going to have to define the new number of the remaining ammo capacity, ammo quantity in this case. So we're going to set the current ammo quantity, and we're going to, here we're going to have to do something here. I think just connect this into here, so we're going to be able to set the new ammo quantity. So what we're doing here is just basically reading what's the current ammo quantity, and then from here, from the whatever number it is, we're going to subtract it by 1, and then we're going to define the new remaining ammo. So after shooting, we're going to define the new number. I think we can read this current ammo quantity for each weapon. So what I'm going to do, what I want to do really is just when you pick up a weapon, as you can see, if the weapon master, the owned weapon 1, it says pistol weapon is equipped, but I don't have the information of how much ammo I have. So I want to add that to each weapon I pick up. So if I pick up the rifle, I'm going to be able to have that information in here. If I pick up the pistol as well, we're going to also hold that information in there. So what I want to do is just go to debugging graph, not the debugging graph, but debug function. And for the owned weapons, I want to have that information as well. So let me just see, picked up weapon, no, owned weapons, yes. This is getting a little bit big, but this is just a test that we're doing. I'm going to just give it a space and type AmmoCapacity. AmmoQuantity. I don't know what's the best name to name this, but there you go. And then from the owned weapons, I'm going to get the ammo current ammo quantity. So I don't want the name to be very big so that I don't occupy the space in here. And then I'm going to give it a space, 2 dots. And I'm going to also add the same thing for all the other append nodes. Just going to copy the name of this, add 2 pins, do it here, nice and easy. All right. And after this, I'm going to go to the pistol 1H and make sure that the class defaults, the ammo capacity is 8, current ammo quantity is 8, and also go back to the rifle, because the rifle also has to have some class defaults. So the current ammo quantity could be something like 25, Ammo capacity could be 25, so we're going to have the full slot ready to go. The fire mode, I'm not sure about this fire mode. We're going to set it up later, but let's test to see if it's going to work. So I'm going to pick up the weapon. As you can see, I think I'm going to have to organize this a little bit better because it's very confusing in there. Maybe I could put some things like these to separate them. There you go. Now it's a lot more cleaner. So you have the pistol and the state of the weapons that the weapon is equipped. The ammo quantity is 8. So as soon as I shoot with the rifle, as you can see, the ammo quantity is changing to 0. And if I keep pressing the left mouse button, as you can see, it doesn't have any bullets. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the pistol. I'm going to just drop this one, and I'm going to pick up the pistol, and I'm going to do the same thing. So the ammo quantity is changing, and until we empty out the whole mag. I'm going to just drop this weapon here. I don't want that. And then pick up the rifle again, and the ammo quantity remains 0. So that's really great. It seems that everything is working well, and that's the easiest part to solve. I think there is going to be a lot more challenges to come. Do you have a list of features you want to implement? No, I don't have any. I just want to implement the most. I have an idea of all the features that I want to implement as soon as I can make them, which is, you can pick up ideas from The Last of Us. Maybe grenade could be a good one. I also want to add grenade. I also want to add enemies that could follow you and you can shoot them. And there's a lot of features that I want to implement, and they are all into my head. I don't have like a script or anything to follow along. Just try to implement things, see if they work, just pure action. So right now we have a lot of things that we have, a lot of features that I want to implement, which is the bullet impact sound effects, the shooting sound effects, the recoil effect, the position of the armor the character shoots, the ammo pockets, the ability to pick up ammo from the ground, the ability to throw a grenade, the ability to throw rocks to distract enemies, the ability to light up a torch, the ability to turn on the flashlight on the character. So I think those are the ones that are in my mind right now. And fix this issue where if you move, as you can see, the aiming it moves as well. So it's a little bit more. This is very unstable. Maybe I could make something with IK that could fix the arm position or fix the pelvis position, that it sticks with the stabilize the character itself. Let me just check if the ALS has that issue as well. I think I changed the. Yeah, as you can see, it's in the ALS, it's not that much stabilized. So what I want to do is just stabilize the arms of the character so that we can have a more precise aiming when you're aiming. Or maybe just get the information of the center of the screen so that we could basically get the start location of where the bullet that comes out of the weapon is, and then get the location of the center of the screen so that as soon as we move on the vertical or horizontal axis, we can have a better precise aiming by getting the center location of the screen. To make it even more, to make the aiming to be very precise, because especially on the third-person shooters, the shooter games, you want to have the aiming as precise as possible. And it could be very annoying when you're moving with the character and the aiming goes up and down like this. The aiming moves with depending on the character's motion, the character's animation. So it's a very good thing to notice to avoid frustration for players. Yeah, you said hi there. Hello there. Now let's just fix the bullets for the rifle. Right now, the bullets they do not appear at all. So I'm gonna try to figure out what's the issue there. I have no idea. Maybe we can get to the Sandbox character. Sandbox character. Go to the weapon shooting system. We can select here the rifle. For now, we can select the projectile of the pistol, or maybe we could make a new projectile. But right now, I'm just going to use the same projectile of the pistol. I think there's no problem for now. We're just gonna remember to change it later. So I'm just going to select for the rifle. I'm going to select the projectile pistol bullet child and try to play it to see if it's going to work. Right now it's not going to work. I think it's because the socket, the rifle itself does not have a location. The bullet start location of the rifle is not there. We just got to adjust the arrow in the rifle child. So open full blueprint editor, go to the viewport. As you can see, the bullet is spawning on the it's totally wrong, the location of the bullet, of where the bullet starts. So I'm going to enable the snapping for rotation, and I'm just going to rotate it to be right in the muzzle. Change the arrow size. I think we don't need that much. All right. If you want, you can change the perspective. So you have left, and then as you can see, this is, I don't know if this is the front or back of the weapon. Let me just go to the bottom. So just put it right over here. So top view, front. There we go. Back. Yeah, that looks nice. So I guess the bullets should be able to come out right now. So as you can see, it's coming out. Yeah, that looks great. Now, usually for rifles, when you hold the left mouse button, the fire mode is different, so you can shoot a lot of bullets. That's for rifles. Now for the pistols, for handguns like these, if you usually hold the left mouse button, maybe you're not going to shoot bullets as the rifle, of course, should. But if you hold, I think there is no automatic way of just getting the bullets to come out of the handgun as soon as the time permits. So usually when you shoot for the first time with the gun, you have to wait a little bit to shoot again. I think this doesn't happen in the you have to wait. I think this doesn't happen in the Counter-Strike. Usually you can click a lot of times to shoot and it doesn't matter. You don't have to wait for anything. But usually when you shoot on the Last of Us 2, maybe you're gonna have to wait a little bit before you can shoot again with the pistol. So it's something very interesting to think about. I don't know, when I pick up the weapon, it says that it's 0. Let me just check it out, because there's a lot of information on the screen, and as soon as you start implementing features, you can lose your mind with all the features I've added, and kind of get confused which print strings you look at in here. But usually you're gonna have to look at the print strings. You're going to look at the ones that the features that you're currently using. So you're going to basically look at the print strings related to whatever feature you're using. So maybe picking up the weapon, like holstering, as you can see, last holstered weapon, and the overlay state is default. So you're going to look at those related to whatever feature, whatever function you're executing. And also the ability to do stealth, so you'll be able to hit enemies with the baseball bat, hit enemies with do the melee attacks, which you could take down the enemies like this. So there's a lot of things and features that we can add right now, and mostly as soon as we add new features, we're going to have to correct the bugs as they come along. And the way that you can fix and make your code stable and scalable and clean is to basically do the cleanup. So let's say, for example, this function here this event here could be a function, so you can collapse all these to a function and call that function name to be weapon shoot function, or do something like these. The shoot event could be also collapsed into just one function, but I think we cannot collapse macros to functions. Yeah, I think we can, as long as it doesn't have any play montage. A montage should be playing here. It's going to be bad, because functions are meant to be executed only once, only in one execution, executed only once in one frame. Retrocede, so the enemy can detect your footsteps. I don't know much about AI, so I don't know how it works. So, but that would be a good implementation. Footsteps. Do you mean like how loud? So maybe if you're crouched, they're not going to hear footsteps. Something like these could be a good implementation. Also, the ability to cover against enemies would be good. Hmm. I think The Last of Us, the character can, they fixed the bug where the character can glitch through the meshes. But I guess this could be fixed by getting the capsule to be a little bit more thicker. Not the line thickness, the capsule radius. Maybe 50 work. So as you can see, the capsule, it defines how the character interacts with other objects. Maybe if you're near a wall, we could make the capsule to be thicker so that it doesn't it doesn't glitch with the other, with the mesh of the wall. Or maybe that could be solved also with IK to, or change the animation, make the head animation to be a little bit more, make the head to not be too much forward. There's a lot of ways we can fix an issue. Oh yeah, I haven't set the ammo quantity for the bow, so I'm going to do that right now. So we have the rifle, the bow, and in the class defaults we have the ammo capacity. So the ammo capacity usually is 1, so you can shoot 1 arrow at a time. So if you want to shoot more than 1, maybe the current ammo quantity could be 5. So you have if you have like 5 arrows in the back of the character, that could work. So what I'm going to try to do is try to set a way to make the arrows to appear in the backside of the character so that we can make the reload system. And we also have to work on the reload system. So I'm going to increase also the pistol, the ammo quantity. So the current ammo quantity is different from the ammo capacity. If the So we have the current ammo quantity. Maybe, let me just see. Sometimes I have to draw on the paint. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe the characters only have like 3 bullets. So to represent that the character has only 3 bullets, we could make this to look like these. So we could have 3 variables, maybe 1 for the current. If the magazine is 5 rounds, you can have 1 in the chamber. So 6 in total, it depends on the gun. 1 in the chamber, so 6 in total. Chamber. What is chamber? Let me just see. Chamber. Place a bullet into the chamber of a gun. Let me just see what chamber is. I see. So this is a chamber. This is the muzzle. So we have 1 variable for current ammo quantity. Yeah, we have to decide what is the ammo capacity, the current ammo quantity, and and how much ammo you have in the character's pocket. So we have the current ammo quantity on the pistol, and the current ammo quantity that the character could hold, the magazine, right? Equipped on the character. So if the character could have like 16 of ammo quantity, but in the mag. Rupak Ram said, I would like to develop a game, but I'm getting stuck at the start of character movement. I tried to edit the GASP project, but I understand nothing. Yeah, especially for beginners, the GASP project is very hard. I wish there was a course for beginners to learn how it is done. But even for a person that really understands how everything is done, it's very hard to make a course and explain everything. So I think that's why people don't do it. People don't make a course, and people don't explain the how they work. Even I don't understand how the ARI works. Motion matching for me is a new thing, but I can very much add and modify the learn with it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to create a new variable called, because we have a lot of information on the screen, and maybe we could, for example, in The Last of Us, we have the current. Let me just get the, this should be larger. So this is the current. In this case, the chamber. Current ammo quantity available in the weapon chamber. Current ammo the character has available in the ammo pocket, and current ammo limit the weapon should have, or the weapon has. I didn't know I could reorder the variables. That's very interesting. You can just, if you want to reorder and place the boolean down below here, you can just drag and drop it. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Yeah, so nice. So I guess you could just reorder the order of the variables inside in here and put the booleans to be first, and then set the enumerators to be the last, something like these. I think it's very nice as well. Just put them down. Variables references are going to be in here. So yeah, it looks a lot nicer. Didn't know I could do that. Oh yeah, you can also move the category by, you don't need to press each one. You don't need to go to each one of the variables and select the category in here. You can just move the variable that you want. If you want to change the category, you can just get the category. I don't know how to pronounce that. The character name, you can just move the character name to whatever, let's say for the weapon. So it's going to move to the weapon category. So I guess that's very interesting as well. Delete. This is work in progress. I think I'm going to delete this. I don't need that. So I'm going to make the code to be cleaner as much as possible. So now we have one more variable, and this variable is the CurrentPocketAmmoQuantity. So what I'm going to try to do is set that available ammo quantity to be working, to be on the default pistol child. So I'm going to go to the class defaults, and I'm going to change the defaults of the pistol. So as you can see, as soon as I changed the name of the variables in the weapon master, if you go to the child, they are going to all be reset to 0, as you can see right here. So you're going to have to set it up, everything back again. This happens because you've just named the variable. And as soon as you update a variable, no matter how you update it, all the variables on the child are also going to be updated. And the default value, as you can see, it's 0. So yeah, but if you set the default value to be in here, I think it's also going to update to all the children. So for the pistol 1A child, I'm going to set the current ammo quantity. Usually it is 8. I think 8 bullets for the pistol is going to be a good amount. And for the current pocket ammo quantity, as we're just testing things out, I'm going to set it to be 15. The fire mode, I didn't set it yet. The ammo capacity is 8. It's just like how many bullets the pistol can hold. If you want to set the description, you can just go to the ammo capacity and go to description in here and say basically holds information of how many bullets the pistol, or the weapon in this case, as we're dealing with the general weapon, can can hold. I think that's the best way I can explain it. Holds information of how many bullets the weapon can hold. So as soon as you add the description, you can see that if you go back to whatever that is AmmoCapacity, and as you can see when you hover over it, you can see the information that it holds, information of how many bullets the weapon can hold. Retro said would be good to be able to pick up different size bags to increase the player's inventory size. Inventory size. Pick up different size bags, increase the player's inventory size. Yeah, that would be cool. I think it would be good to have the player to have the ability to increase the inventory size depending on the bag size, but I think what I really want to add later is a bag so that the character can hold the weapons. You can pretty much easily find the weapons. Not the weapon, the bags on Sketchfab. Backpack. Survival style. I think this knife looks really clean. I think I'm going to like this and download this for later. Also comes with the FBX, which is nice. Type of bag. It is a this one looks nice. Yeah, it doesn't really. I think it doesn't really matter like how the backpack looks like right now. It's just I think this one looks better. But it looks more like a military model, sort of. Yeah, we can check it later. We have time. Now, as we've added the new information of the ammo capacity, for example, We're gonna have to also display that to see if it's really working. The Sandbox character, debug. Let me just see where that is. Debug function. Right now we have the AmmoQuantity. I think it's also good to display the other values. So I'm going to expand this a little bit, and then also add those values there. Hello, what are your Discovery Kid said, hello, what are your PC specifications? For the GPU, I have I've recently changed from 50 RTX 5070 Ti to it's actually a downgrade to 50 RTX 5070 normal version, and for the CPU, I have a i9 12th gen and 64 gigs of RAM. The 5070 is better than Ti. No, the Ti is better, but the Ti is, for me, it's just too much power. I don't need that much power. And usually the price for the Ti is very expensive for me. Yeah, in my country, especially for my country, we pay 30% more for the Ti, I think. 30 to 40% more. So I'm pretty happy with the 5070 because it's cheaper and the value, the cost benefit is higher. So I used to have the 3080 and but the 3080 it's the 5070 is more updated. It has it's more energy efficient. Here, Brazil. Yeah, I also live in Brazil, so I paid For the RTX 5070 Ti, I paid 7,000 reals for the 5070 Ti, which converts to $1,200. And for the RTX 5070, I paid 4,400 reals, which converts to $920. Right, so let's test it out to see if it's going to work. So since what CurrentPocketAmmoQuantity 50. I think there's something wrong in here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just do something. This is here. AmmoCapacity goes in here. All right, I think now everything is right. We have all the information that we need for the owned weapon 1, for example, for the pistol. We have the information that the weapon, like what kind of weapon it is, so it's the pistol. Now the second information we have is if the weapon is equipped. It is. The ammo quantity is 8. Now the current pocket ammo quantity. Let me just change the ammo quantity. This is I've just updated this variable to be named as current weapon, or just current ammo quantity. I think that makes more sense. So I'm just going to update this value to update the name so that it makes more sense. So current ammo quantity. There we go. So right now everything is set up to work well. If I try to pick up the rifle, as you can see, I haven't set anything, but the ammo capacity is 25, but the rest is 000 out, is all 0 out. But the rifle, just to fix that, we can set in the class defaults. So the current pocket ammo quantity maybe could be 30. The current ammo quantity could be 25. Usually that's the amount of bullets of the mag that is going to come with the weapon. The ammo capacity is also going to be 25, so you have the full mag filled up. And for the bow, just to finish this live stream, for the bow, the current weapon ammo quantity the ammo capacity is 1, so you can shoot 1 bow at a time. The current ammo pocket quantity, that's usually the amount of arrows you're going to have on the back of the character, so that's going to be 5. current weapon ammo quantity is going to be the amount of ammo that's going to be on the bow already. I don't know how it is in The Last of Us, if the bow usually comes, if you have to also reload the bow before. Anyways, Discovery Kid said you're Brazilian also. Good to know, man. I've been watching your videos. Yeah, we're in the same country, Brazil. Retro said I'm in USA, but I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's very famous. I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is more famous outside than inside, because. But everybody knows here in Brazil. Everybody knows that what is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it's not very common here. It's not very common for people to know it, to know about it, or to practice the sport. So now when you pick up the bow, you're going to be able to see that we have the bow equipped. The current ammo quantity is 1. The current pocket ammo quantity is 5. And the ammo capacity is 1. All right, I guess that's going to wrap up for today. Thank you for watching the stream. And for the next stream, we're going to be adding the reload animations for all the bow. We're going to finish the reload system. And we're going to do some other things. I don't know. I don't have a list of features to follow, to add, because we basically fix whatever comes up, and we basically add whatever comes up on mine. So I don't usually have a script or a list to follow, but we're going to see in the future how it's going to turn out to be, because after the stream I also have to fix some things, like optimize this a little bit, make it more cleaner. We have a lot of things to make it more cleaner, like this code right here, the main code, the pickup, drop, wholesale, cube logic. We can also convert everything into functions, and that's going to be a lot more nicer to see. So thank you very much, and I see you next time.